Hi everyone, I'm Jeremy and this is Yoga with Jeremy. Today we've got an instructional video on the king of all poses, Salamba Sirsasana, or the supported headstand. We're going to start from the very beginning and teach you all the basics about how to do this pose and how to practice it, together with things that we should avoid doing as well. And we're doing this because tomorrow morning I'm going to post my first inversion flow. This is an inversion flow that includes the practice of headstand. Supported headstand is typically the first inversion that we learn. It is challenging and rewarding. At the same time, it is a celebration of what the body can do. To begin learning supported headstand, we start from the base. The base is created by the forearms. The forearms form two sides of a triangle. By interlacing the fingers and placing the forearms down on the mat, we create the base. What's important to understand is the width of the elbows. The elbows should be about shoulder width apart, so not too wide. A good rule of thumb is to place the forearms down on the mat, holding onto opposite elbows, and then extend the hands in front to form that triangle. This gives you a good idea of how wide the elbows should be. Once the forearms are down, we complete the base by placing the crown of the head right where the hands are interlaced, just cradling the head with the interlaced fingers. Next, we begin the work of getting the center of mass of the body over the base that we have created. From here, there are two ways to go about this. The first way, and this is the way I learned, is to straighten the knees and lift the hips up high and start to walk the feet in. As you walk the feet in, the hips start to go up over the base, and then once they are sufficiently high up, maybe tucking one knee in at a time, and we can use this as practice, or if we're feeling comfortable about it, we can tuck both knees in, and here we are already in a sort of a headstand. Then the work is to slowly extend the legs up towards the ceiling, moving only as slowly as we're comfortable doing until we find ourselves in the full expression of a headstand. The other way, which is something a bit more accessible for those with open hamstrings, is to start from that same position with the knees straightened and the hips up high, walk the feet in, but instead of tucking it in, we lift one leg up towards the ceiling in a sort of a split position, lifting it as high up as we can, then getting the hips more and more over the base until maybe the other foot floats off, and we slowly scissor the leg up to find that full expression of headstand. The next question is, how should the weight be distributed in a headstand? There are a number of competing opinions on this, but there is at least one universal point of agreement, that most, if not all, of your weight should be in the forearms. I myself prefer to put maybe about 60 to 80% of the weight in the forearms, almost all of the weight in the forearms with just a little bit of the weight in the head. What this means is that the forearms really need to find that action of pressing downwards into the mat strongly. Imagine as if you're trying to press the mat away from you. And let's look at some of the common issues that are faced when we are practicing headstand. One issue that is commonly faced is that as the feet come in, the forearms start to lift off. This can sometimes happen if the body is a little too rounded. What we need to do is to engage the muscles along the posterior chain. That's the muscles all along the back, including the glutes and hamstrings. We use this to straighten out the body so that the forearms can touch down into the mat and then drive the forearms into the mat so that we can ultimately lift the legs up higher. The second issue that is commonly faced is as the legs start to lift off, we collapse back down. This issue is caused by forgetting to press through into the forearms. Once we find that engagement of really strongly pressing into the forearms, taking 60 to 80% of the weight in the forearms, then we will feel that lightness as we float up. And if you're new to headstand, I will leave you with two final tips. The first is, don't forget, if you are new, it's perfectly okay to practice next to the wall. Use the wall as a spotter. Make sure that if you are starting to fall, just gently touch the wall and push off it. And the second is that it is strongly advised to avoid kicking up into a headstand. It is generally considered quite unsafe to do so, as it could risk injuries in the neck. And that's it for the headstand. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this instructional video, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow on the Inversion Flow headstands. See ya!